One of the many things Disney is best at is innovation. We keep seeing better and better technology in Disney parks, not only in rides but in merch too. But sadly, with innovation comes retirement for outdated technology, and that's how many of our favorite attractions and animatronics are retired. So today, let's take a look at 6 retired animatronics. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you can become part of our FPF notification squad. Tom Morrow 2.0, Innoventions Road to Tomorrow.
Well, right now I'm coming to you from Epcot, but how did I get here? Let's find out.
In 1999, Innoventions had a major renovation for the park's Millennium Celebration and added the subtitle, The Road to Tomorrow. This new renovation made sure that Innoventions would still be innovative, having the new Millennium's latest technology. It also made it much easier to walk through because the road helped guests to have a more structured way of seeing every exhibition available. With this new renovation also came new sponsors, exhibitions, and a new mascot. Tom Morrow 2.0 was a small animatronic that served as an ambassador and self-proclaimed gatekeeper of Innoventions, The Road to Tomorrow.
This is Imagineer Doug Griffith. So, Doug, where do I come from?
Tom, your history starts with puppets controlled by strings called marionettes. To this idea, we added a little Disney magic, and Sparky was born. Sparky used to tour the country and tell people all about Imagineering.
Hey, I do that too, only better.
Then came Automatic, Shelley, and Artisan. And you know I've got home movies of the day you were born.
I think I'm gonna cry.
We took parts of arrows to make your arms, added model airplane parts, even electric motors. Add some finishing touches, and voila, it's a boy.
Wow!
I think. Anyway, it's Tom Morrow 2.0.
So, Brandon, where do I come from? Daddy! So where's Mom?
This animatronic used to interact with guests and gave them lots of facts and trivia. He was also the host of the Disney Channel segment, Imagineer That.
Ever wonder how Disney dreams become reality? It's something called Imagineering. Disney presents Imagineer That with Tom Morrow 2.0. Any questions?
Where he would answer questions about Imagineering and explain how many Disney park attractions were created. In 2007, renovations started for Innoventions, and by 2008, Tom Morrow was gone. Nobody knew what had happened to him until 2011's D23, when Tom Morrow returned, but this time, he had a new role. He became the Great Destiny. For this experience, the old animatronic was recycled and given new technology so that the Great Destiny was able to interact personally to people's reactions. It might look like a cast member was behind the scenes controlling the animatronic, but that was not the case. A new complicated software allowed the animatronic to react to the guest's facial expressions. After this, Tom Morrow disappeared again until 2013, where he could be seen in an exhibition at the Odyssey Passholder Center. In this exhibition, people could see many props from different attractions, like Figment from Journey into Imagination, and of course, Tom Morrow 2.0. But then, in 2017, Tom Morrow 2.0 appeared to be on sale on themeparkconnection.com. Nobody knows what happened to him after that. He's probably safe and sound in a collector's living room. Jason, the Living Seas.
Tonight, we're going to look at the mysteries of the seas, as writers have seen them for centuries, as the filmmakers at Disney Studios have seen them for over 50 years, and also through the eyes of some pretty fascinating people.
When the Living Seas opened back in 1986, it opened as the biggest oceanic environment ever created by humans. It was nicknamed the 6th biggest ocean in the world because of its size.
6.5 million gallons of water. Enough water to give everyone watching this program a 10-ounce drink and still have enough left over to quench the thirst of Albany, New York.
This pavilion was created to give people a better understanding of our relationships with the ocean and the part they will play in our future. The Living Seas had a pre-show, a motion picture, a short ride, and the Sea Base Alpha exhibits, which we're going to focus on today. The attraction started with a short movie called The Sea that showed how the Earth went from a volcanic planet to a world of oceans. After this, guests were taken into an elevator that, using sound effects and movements in the walls, gave the impression that they were being taken to the bottom of the ocean. Then guests waited in a queue to board the Sea Cabs, a type of omnimover that took them through the coral reef to the Sea Base Alpha.
And welcome to Sea Base Alpha. You know, the challenge of the sea is an adventure that man has wanted to undertake since the earliest days of diving tubes and long before Leonardo da Vinci designed the first known underwater breathing devices.
Seabase Alpha was divided into 2 levels and had 9 exhibits or modules. In the first level, Module 1D was found. This module was dedicated to undersea exploration and had the gym suit, which was an atmospheric diving suit used to explore the depths of the sea. We could find one full suit and another 2 that were cut in half, so that guests could use it to try and turn an arrow, push a lever, turn a wheel, and shift a gear using the counterbalance manipulator hands. It was also in this module that we could find our star animatronic, Jason. Inspired by Jason Jr., the robot who explored the wreck of the RMS Titanic in 1986 and sadly got lost in the sea, Jason used to demonstrate to guests how robots like him worked and were operated by scientists. He also explained how just a small percentage of the ocean had been explored, and thanks to robots, special suits, and submarines, it was now easier to explore and learn more about this unknown area. But then, Disney began to re-theme the living seas into a new pavilion based on the recently released Pixar film, Finding Nemo. The majority of the transformation began with the exterior elements, but in January 2004, the interior began to change as well. It started with the opening of Turtle Talk with Crush, where we could once find Module C. The show became such a great success that it needed a bigger area.
You so totally rock, Squirt! So give me some fin. Noggin. Dude.
So in 2005, the pavilion closed to be transformed into the seas with Nemo and friends. Seabase Alpha had been rethemed to Finding Nemo, and the entire original pre-show area was in the process of being rebuilt. Decor and signage were replaced, and once themed to Finding Nemo replaced scientific displays. Turtle Talk with Crush remained as popular as it was before the transformation, and the ride suffered lots of changes. The sea calves were transformed into clammobiles, the track was lengthened by 280 feet, and a new projection system was added in many parts of the ride. By October 2006, the transformation was done, and the Living Seas was part of the past. It now became the first Epcot pavilion to be based on a Disney animated movie property. Nobody knows for sure where Jason is right now, but we can only hope that he's not lost at sea like his namesake, Jason Jr. Starnack, Innoventions West.
Hey, Bill Nye the Science Guy here. You may know me as a famous TV star, of course you may not. But anyway, I'm the ambassador and resident scientist at Epcot's exciting new world called Innoventions. What is Innoventions?
We've talked about Innoventions before, how it wanted to replicate what once was the World's Fair, and show people the latest technology. Innoventions opened in 1994 at Walt Disney World, replacing the now outdated Communicore. It was divided into 2 sections, East and West. In the West section, we could find popular exhibitions like the Sega one, where we could take a look at the future of video games, or the Electronics exhibition, where we could find the latest gadgets, some of which were not even being sold yet. Here's where we could find another beloved retired animatronic, Electronic, who we've talked about in the last retired animatronics video. And then in the East section, we could find Apple, General Electric, General Motors, and other exhibitions. Among these other exhibitions was Motorola. Motorola didn't want to stay behind in the tech race, so they designed an exhibition called Communications Dream Forum. And this exhibition had a special host named Starnack.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your gears. I am the great Starnack, and I can see into the future. But more about that in the future, because right now I'd like to welcome you to the Dream Forum.
Starnack was a pretty advanced animatronic that had a crystal ball where he could see the future. He used to check his crystal ball to see the future of technology and telecommunications. And of course, he also told people how Motorola would be a fundamental part of future technology. He was a tall metallic robot, which had the Motorola logo on the side. And just as Electronic, he was amazingly advanced. He had a pretty articulated body, which allowed him to move all the way to the tips of his fingers with flowing motions. As time passed, this exhibition continued growing, adding interactive experiences and demonstrations of Motorola's newest cell phone models, until it closed on May 1st, 2003. Sadly, nobody knows for sure what became of Starnack, but we can only hope that he is stored safely or that he has been recycled and put to good use. The Bird and the Robot, World of Motion.
Something for everybody. Today we've come to expect, even demand, variety in almost everything that affects the quality of our lives. The history of transportation here at the World of Motion shows how people throughout the ages have searched for and found better ways to get from here to there. Now we invite you to join us in an exciting, informative, and entertaining world that offers something for everybody. A world of motion where you're completely free to make your own magic.
We've talked about World of Motion before. This attraction was sponsored by General Motors and was filled with animatronics. It focused on the importance of transportation through different periods of humanity and took guests through 22 scenes where they could see different types of transportation. After the ride ended, guests got out of their vehicle and into the Trans Center.
In the World of Motion Trans Center, we go beyond the present and look at the future of transportation. It takes more than imagination to dream up a new engine or a new design to catch the eye. It takes the experience and insight of knowledgeable observers to foresee the vehicles, the technologies, and the transportation systems that will be appropriate for the future.
Here guests could find exhibits that showed all about transportation and the things surrounding it. And it was here that we could see the ever-popular show, The Bird and the Robot. The Bird and the Robot was an audio animatronics vaudeville show, starring a toucan named Bird, who was originally built for Tokyo Disneyland's Tiki Room, and an assembly line robot named Tiger. During this show, Bird and Tiger entertain guests with many acts. Bird has Tiger do some tricks, like playing dead and fetching a donut. But when Tiger doesn't bring back a donut, Bird threatens to send him back to GM, where he would have to work as an assembly line robot. A video display in the background showed other car manufacturing robots working in GM plants. And the finale had Tiger conducting the Detroit Phil Robotic Orchestra, which was a series of clips of car manufacturing robots set to music. The show was considered one of the best shows in Future World, but sadly, GM was in a bit of a slump, and World of Motion had lost some popularity. So, GM requested that Disney create a new attraction in its place. And wanting to promote their cars, they asked that the new attraction would focus only on cars. On January 12, 1996, World of Motion closed its doors forever to make way for Test Track.
They are the elite. Drivers confronting the most punishing conditions. They are the new breed of test driver, mercilessly putting cars through their paces. Who are these masters of the road? Test Track, new at Epcot. See if you've got what it takes.
Hopefully, these animatronics found new homes, and maybe Bird made its way to its original place at Tokyo's Tiki Room, and Tiger is enjoying life far away from the assembly lines at General Motors. Mr. Tom Morrow, Mr. Johnson. Flight to the Moon, Mission to Mars.
Popular attractions here is our simulated rocket trip around the moon. After entering the Disneyland spaceport, visitors may experience the thrills that space travelers of the future will encounter when rocket trips to the moon become a daily routine.
Rocket to the Moon opened at Disneyland in 1955 as a simulated trip to the moon. In 1967, with the Apollo program underway, astronauts traveling to the moon was likely to happen soon. So the attraction received a name change to Flight to the Moon when the new Tomorrowland opened that same year.
When the 1960s arrived, the world of today began to catch up with Disneyland's world of tomorrow. So Walt Disney and our Imagineering department began to create an all-new Tomorrowland. And here it is today in Disneyland.
That same attraction opened on December 24th, 1971 at Walt Disney World. This new attraction had 9 new animatronics, and the leader of these animatronics was Mr. Tom Morrow. This was the first time that a character with the name of Tom Morrow appeared at any Disney park, but as we know it, it wouldn't be the last. Mr. Tom Morrow used to be a part of the attraction's pre-show, where he told guests all about mission control. He interacted with a cast member that asked him about the mission and introduced guests to the vehicle they were about to board to take them to the moon. But the attraction had the same problem that Tomorrowland. It became outdated because in 1969, people had already been to the moon, so it desperately needed a renovation. In 1975, both Disneyland and Disney World's Flight to the Moon were replaced by Mission to Mars. Mission to Mars was very similar to Flight to the Moon. In fact, many people think that it was the same attraction. There were some changes, of course, but one of the biggest changes to the attraction was Mr. Tom Morrow. You see, Mr. Tom Morrow also became kind of outdated like his attraction before, so to replace him, Disney brought in Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Welcome to Mission Control, space travelers. The first part of your trip to Mars today will be directed from this room, and so will your landing when you return to Earth.
Mr. Johnson had the same voice as Mr. Tom Morrow, but he was much more modern. Instead of a button-down shirt and necktie, he rocked a red turtleneck sweater beneath his lab coat. He also had a luxuriant head of hair and a mustache. Mission to Mars closed its doors in 1992 at Disneyland and 1993 at Disney World. Disneyland's Mission to Mars was closed so that it could make way for the new Tomorrowland project that Michael Eisner had planned. It was supposed to be replaced by Alien Encounter, but sadly, as we've said many times, this Tomorrowland 2055 project was cancelled, and instead, Red Rocket's Pizza Port opened in 1998 where Mission to Mars used to be. Disney World didn't have the same problem as Disneyland, and in 1995, Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter opened, replacing Mission to Mars. After a while, Alien Encounter was closed and replaced by Stitch's Great Escape. For both of these attractions, the pre-shows, main shows, and decor were changed. But these attractions all use the same infrastructure with a single stand-up pre-show area. So of course, with these new changes came new animatronics. And with the new animatronics, the old ones were retired. Lucky the Dinosaur. One of the most ambitious innovations that Imagineering has had was the Living Characters Initiative. This initiative gave life to Lucky the Dinosaur, the first ever animatronic to walk independently. Up until that moment, animatronics could sing, talk, move, and duel with swords, but they could not walk. After 5 long years of working, Imagineers created this amazing animatronic. Lucky walks on 2 legs and stands approximately 9 feet tall and 12 feet long, and pulls a cart full of flowers, which powers the animatronic. He loves people and balloons, and signs autographs. His signature is a 4-leaf clover. Lucky can laugh, sneeze, snort, grin, bray, bellow, and occasionally gets hiccups, and is led by Chandler, the dinosaur handler. His first appearance was at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles on August 28, 2003. A few days later, he visited Disney's California Adventure Park. Since Lucky was only playtesting, he returned to his home at Walt Disney Imagineering. His official debut was in 2005 when he was taken to Animal Kingdom. After a while, he was taken to Hong Kong Disneyland. As of August 2015, Lucky is at his final home of Walt Disney Imagineering. He is still running as he meets visitors who come with the Backstage Magic Tour from Adventures by Disney. So tell us, which of these animatronics was your favorite? Let us know in the comments. Our friends at Pixie Vacation can help you plan your perfect vacation to Disneyland, Disney World, or a Disney cruise specifically tailored to your vacation style and budget. And working with a Pixie is completely free. So talk with them to make the best out of your Disney vacation.